Doreen adjusted her makeup in the rear-view mirror of her Honda Accord before stepping out into the busy car park. She was running late for her book club meeting, but that was nothing new. Between her job as a marketing executive at a production company, her weekend portrait classes, and her volunteer work at the local children's library, she was always rushing from one thing to another. At 28, Doreen had built a comfortable life for herself in Lagos. She lived alone in a nice two-bedroom apartment, drove her own car, and had enough savings to take her on occasional trips to Dubai or London with her friends. She wasn't wealthy, but she was comfortable and independent. She had been single for 8 months now, after ending a 2-year relationship with Tunde, a banker who had wanted her to quit her job and focus on planning their wedding. But Doreen had other plans. Finally! Her friend Kemi called out as Doreen hurried into the venue. "We are about to start without you." The book club was Doreen's favorite part of the week. 12 professional women who met every Saturday to discuss life and everything in between. After the meeting, Doreen drove to her portrait class in Victoria Island. She had started taking ceramics lessons 6 months ago as a way to unwind from her high-stress job. Doreen smiled as she walked thickly on the wheel. This was her meditation, her escape from the constant notifications and meetings that filled her weekdays. Sunday was for family. Doreen drove to her parents' house in Ikeja, where she joined her siblings for their weekly family lunch. Her parents, both retired civil servants, had built a comfortable middle-class life. "When are you bringing someone home, Doreen?" her mother asked, as she did every Sunday. "Well, when I find someone worth bringing home," Doreen replied, smiling. Monday brought the usual chaos of work. Doreen managed the social media campaigns for 3 major companies, which meant constant meetings, content creation, trend analysis, and crisis management. She loved the challenge and the creativity it required. During her lunch break, she scrolled through Instagram while eating a salad at her desk. She didn't post much, maybe a photo from book club or portrait class once a week, but she enjoyed following accounts that shared interesting content. Then she saw a post on tech with over 1 million views and hundreds of comments. Doreen was curious and checked the profile, but what caught Doreen's attention wasn't just the thoughtful caption. It was the young man. He was absolutely gorgeous, the kind of handsome that made you stop scrolling and watch twice. Doreen found herself checking his profile repeatedly over the next few days. Every photo, every video, every story, Jerry was undeniably stunning. But unlike most attractive men on social media, his content had substance. 2 days later, Jerry posted a new video. The comments were full of praise and agreement, but Doreen typed a different response. She hesitated before posting the comment, knowing it would stand out among all the agreement, but she believed in speaking her mind. The next morning, she woke up to a direct message from Jerry. Doreen stared at her phone in surprise. With thousands of followers and hundreds of comments on his post, she hadn't expected him to notice her critique, much less respond privately. What followed was a 3-day debate about community development, technology implementation, and social responsibility. Doreen found herself looking forward to his messages, enjoying the intellectual stimulation of their discussions. After the debate ended, they stopped messaging. Doreen continued to follow his content, occasionally liking posts or leaving brief comments. She noticed he had started incorporating some of the points she had raised into his later post about community work. Weeks passed. Doreen's life continued its busy rhythm. Work, book club, poetry class, family dinners, volunteer work, and so on. She went on a few dates arranged by well-meaning friends, but nothing sparked her interest. One guy spent the entire dinner talking about his car. Another couldn't understand why she wouldn't quit her job if they got married. She had almost forgotten about Jerry when he messaged her again and asked why she had no content on her Instagram, despite her strong, intelligent ideas. It was a Saturday evening, and Doreen was at home, fresh from her portrait class. She looked at his message and replied. Doreen learned that Jerry had studied computer science at the University of Nigeria and Nsukka, then worked in Silicon Valley for 5 years before returning to Nigeria to start his own company. Their chats became more frequent. What started as occasional messages turned into daily conversations. Doreen found herself sharing more than she usually did with new people. The first time she saw his face via video call, Doreen nearly dropped her phone. The camera didn't diminish his attractiveness. If anything, it enhanced it. His smile was even more captivating in motion. his laugh infectious. They video called almost every evening. Jerry would show her around his apartment, his workspace, sometimes even his morning routine. During one call, while he was making coffee, he knocked over the sugar container and spent several minutes feeling around the counter to clean it up. Dorian burst into laughter. "What's wrong with you now? Why are you behaving like a blind man?" Jerry laughed too, his eyes not quite meeting the camera. "Don't mind me, I don't know why I'm clumsy this morning." 6 months into their friendship, Jerry asked her out. Dorian's heart raced. She felt the same way, but something held her back. "Jerry, I don't just know if we're a thing yet. We live just a few hours apart, but we've never met. Don't you think that's strange? I've been meaning to ask you about that. Would you like us to meet?" "Of course I would. Who wouldn't?" There was a long pause. Before he could continue, Dorian's phone's battery died. Dorian's friends became increasingly suspicious. During book club one Saturday, the topic came up. "Doreen, this is not normal," said Folake. 2 years with a man who won't meet you. "Sister, you need to wake up. Calm down, he wants to meet. We just haven't found the right time," Doreen said. "Omo, there's nothing you want to say. That guy is married," suggested Kemi. On their next call, Doreen told Jerry the questions her friend asked and asked him when they should see. "Look, babe, I'm just afraid that when you see me, everything might change." "What do you mean change? Come on, just get away from your fears and let's see, please." During their 3rd anniversary, Doreen decided to confront the issue directly. "Jerry, I love you, but I can't continue this relationship without meeting you in person. Whatever you're afraid of, we need to face it together." Then he finally agreed. They arranged to meet the next Saturday. Doreen's heart pounded with excitement and nervousness. After 3 years of daily conversations, she was finally going to meet the man she loved. Jerry suggested they met at a restaurant. It was a quiet place with an outdoor seating. Saturday morning finally came. Doreen spent hours getting ready. She arrived at the restaurant 30 minutes early and chose a table with a good view of the entrance and waited. At exactly 3 p.m., she saw 2 men approaching the restaurant. One was Jerry, unmistakably handsome even from a distance, but something was off. The other man, tall and broad-shouldered, walked slightly ahead of Jerry, occasionally turning back to say something to him. As they got closer, Doreen was shocked. Jerry was walking carefully, one hand lightly touching his companion's elbow for guidance. The realization hit her like a physical blow. No, she muttered under her breath, grabbing her phone to check Jerry's photo again, hoping that her eyes were deceiving her. But it was him, the same gorgeous face she had been staring at on the screen for 3 years, the same man she had fallen in love with. She had expected to finally meet the man of her dreams. Instead, she was faced with a reality she had never imagined. Part of her wanted to slip away to avoid the complicated conversation that was surely coming. But as she watched Jerry waiting for her, she stood up and practically ran to his table, throwing her arms around him in a hug. But as Doreen pulled back from their embrace, looking directly into Jerry's eyes for the first time in person, she saw what she had somehow missed in all their video calls. His eyes were beautiful but unfocused, looking slightly past her rather than at her. He was blind. His face immediately brightened with a smile that was both relieving and terrifying. "Doreen, thank God. I was starting to think you ran away." "Why would you think that? I'm a bit shocked though," she said softly, sitting down across him. Jerry reached across the table, his hand searching for hers. When their fingers touched, he let out a small sigh. Doreen felt tears prick her eyes. Jerry, why do you act like everything is fine? Why didn't you tell me?" Jerry was quiet for a while. Then he said, "Because I was terrified you would see me as disabled first and leave. I wanted you to know me for me, before my disability." They sat in silence for a moment. "I won't pretend this doesn't scare me," she admitted. "I don't know anything about dating someone who is blind. I don't know what challenges we will face or how to handle them. Right now, I don't even know anymore, but we'll see how this goes." They went their separate ways, both engrossed in multiple thoughts. Doreen was scared. What if he had more secrets? Can I trust him? She thought, as she lay on her bed. He called that night, but she ignored, as she was torn between breaking up with him and trusting him enough to stay. After a week, Doreen made her decision and finally replied Jerry's call. They met at the same restaurant again. She told Jerry that every relationship had challenges, and that what mattered to her was that he was the same person she had been talking to and falling in love with. She then told him that if they were going to move forward, they needed complete honesty. Jerry nodded eagerly, promising to be open and telling her that she could ask him anything she wanted to know or needed to understand. As they left the restaurant together, Doreen's arm leaned through Jerry's for guidance. She reflected on the unexpected turn her life had taken. She had come to this meeting with certain expectations and had found something completely different. But maybe that was how the best love stories happen. Not according to plan, but according to the heart's ability to see beyond the surface and find something real underneath. The blind date had indeed gone wrong in every way she had expected, but as Jerry squeezed her hand and smiled at something she said, Doreen realized that sometimes wrong was exactly what she needed to find something right.